Alright everyone, welcome back to the A's and Badgers Let's Play of Godzilla on the NES. Today we're playing my favorite planet in the solar system, Saturn. So let's find out who we've got on the list this time. We're fighting Battlegon this time. Looks like I lied when I said that each monster in the next stage grows progressively more powerful. Battlegon's actually not quite as strong as Hedorah, at least in terms of the length of his health bar, so that's an interesting change of pace. Although, as you probably noticed on the map screen, I've still got a pretty long journey ahead of me to get to him, so plenty of things can go wrong on the way, like one of those flying fireball things. Anyway, hopefully you guys will stick with it and actually watch this whole video series to the end, because I know it's tough to watch sometimes. It is a little repetitive, but hey, if you think it's painful to watch, try playing it. It's not a bad game by any means, but shit, it does kind of chip away at you a little. Anyway, here's hoping you guys stick with it, because the viewership of my blog depends on it. Oh, Godzilla, I'm gonna kill you again by punching you in your fucking head. Although you're like 60% head, so stop raping me with your tentacle. Tentacle rape. Tentacle rape in the corner. Fuck. Stop enjoying it, Godzilla. That's an order. Oh, you shouldn't have let me out. Fuck. Yeah, that's right. I swear, Godzilla is just like in this game to pad Godzilla's health bar. So, I'm going to continue moving Godzilla because I don't want to risk Mothra getting killed by one of these guys, because as I've mentioned several times before, Mothra can't handle bosses, so I guess I'll use Godzilla as a decoy or an advanced fighter or something, just a recon, I guess. Although he's also the muscle of the group, so oh shit. Please don't kill me, please don't kill me, please don't kill me. Ah shit. That hurt just a little. I can deal with it though. And yeah. What the hell is up with the Planet X Air Force? Keep slamming their shit into my face. Like you have all these super expensive jet planes and you keep slamming them into my face. You think that's economically viable? For real, man. Planet X aliens fail strategy 101. I'm sure pretty much everyone watching this video already knows that, the Planet X aliens originated in the, I think it was 1964, 1965, maybe 66. I think it was 64 or 65. Anyway, it was a Godzilla movie by the American title Monster Zero, as named after King Ghidorah in it, because King Ghidorah is referred to as Monster Zero, Kaibutsu Zero, and the original Japanese title of the film was Kaiju Daisenso, which is basically monster, it's like giant monster war basically. It's a generic title, but it works. Anyway, shit, we'll get you fucking dick. Better fight Godzilla. In Monster Zero, basically the plot is these aliens show up on Earth, and they're like, "Oh man, you gotta let us borrow Godzilla and Rodan because our planet is getting fucked over by this big space dragon called King Ghidorah, and we need to borrow your monsters so we can like beat his ass." And so they offer to give us some formula for some serum that can cure any disease in all of earthly existence. And so Earth sends 2 astronauts over to Planet X, and the deal goes down, and we let them borrow our 2 monsters. And guess what? Planet X aliens were pulling our chain, and they actually intended to invade Earth by stealing our monsters and using their some sort of like mind control device to turn them against us and ravage the entire planet with them in concert with King Ghidorah. So basically the Planet X aliens are a group of beings. I think they're cyborgs, at least in the Japanese version. And logic is their way. So I guess they're like Star Trek Vulcans. I'm not really a Trekkie, so I don't know these things. I could be wrong. But they have some sort of computer or a device that performs some sort of complex computations that can kind of predict the actions of existence, kind of. So anything that happens, they can kind of run it through their computer and be like, oh hey, we know what's going to go down, so let's counter it and play things to our advantage. So they're basically these unbeatable beings that, have shields on their ships, and they can't be killed by conventional means. But fortunately, Akira Kubo's character is a toy maker who just happens to design this machine that makes an annoying ass sound that just happens to be the way to kill them and break their machines. And so Earth uses the device, it breaks all the machines, and Godzilla and Rodan, being the badasses that they are, as soon as they're free of the mind control, they turn around and say, hey Ghidorah, we're gonna kick your fucking ass, and they do just that. But it was a pretty cool movie. It wasn't really one of my favorites as a kid. I mean, I watched it, but I already mentioned the ones I watched all the time. It was just one of those things that would be on TV occasionally, and I'd be like, oh, Godzilla, I think I'll watch it. But it's not actually really that much of a Godzilla movie. I mean, he's in it, but for the most part, it's just like a straight sci-fi movie that just happens to have a lot of giant monsters in it. But really cool cast. Had Kumi Mizuno, of course, and as I mentioned, Akira Kubo. And he's kind of dorky in it, which is interesting, because at that point in my life I was so used to seeing him be this like pimp-ass awesome guy, but in that he's like a total dork. But the one thing that's really interesting about the movie, at least in the casting area, is the fact that it's made in a time period when Toho was they signed some sort of contract with American film studios, and they began borrowing American actors for their films. Like in Monster Zero, I think it was Nick Adams. He might have been the first American, aka white guy, that they had as a main character in one of their movies. It was either that or the dude from War of the Gargantuas. I could be wrong, but Nick Adams was fucking hilarious, because basically the way they made the movie was he would be on the soundstage and he'd speak all of his lines in English, and then for the Japanese release of the film, they'd dub him over in Japanese so the audience could understand him. Now, in the American release though, the live audio recorded of him speaking English was played as normal. And so, I guess during filming he got a little too comfortable with things or something, because at some point he starts calling his co-star Akira Takarada's character named Fuji. He starts calling the Fuji character Fuji, and every time he does it, Akira Takarada just gives him this like sideways look, like, what the fuck are you saying, Gaijin? I don't understand you and your crazy words. He's like, my name's not Fuji. I mean, my name's not Fuji, it's Fuji. So, plus he's awesome. He's just that, you know, American go-getter kind of guy from the early 60s. It's like, yeah, all that is man. Anyway, I thought it was funny. Maybe it isn't, but just stupid trivia that I remember because I spent way too many years watching Godzilla movies. I would definitely love to see another one made at some point, because I think Godzilla has a streak going for longest running film series. Once again, I could be wrong on that. I forget if it's based on years or entries in the series, but in either case, I think it was him and James Bond, although if you count the Sherlock Holmes series as one continuous thought, that is one series, then I'm pretty sure he has the record. As I said, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure, once again, this is another thing that I'm pretty sure everyone watching this already knows, but Legendary Films, you know, the same studio that gave us classics like Superman Returns, has confirmed another American Godzilla film for, I think, 2011, and can't really say how I feel about it at this point. I mean, the 1998 Godzilla film, the Dean Devlin and Roland Emmerich film, that really rubbed me the wrong way, and in fact pretty much all Godzilla fans for that matter. I remember going to see that movie when I was like, I had to have been like 11, but I was so excited for it because Godzilla, like up to that point, was like absolutely the most awesome thing in my life, and that was around the time I had started buying VHS bootlegs of subtitled versions of the Heisei series. So that was around the time I think in 1995, the same year Godzilla vs. Destoroyah came out. That's when I started buying those VHSs, and I had them all I had the entire Heisei series by the time the American Godzilla movie came out. So I was pretty well psyched. But being a kid, I didn't realize there was a reason why they weren't fucking showing him in the previews. And yeah, it was, I mean, aside from Godzilla not being Godzilla, I mean, Godzilla's not supposed to die by missiles from jets, and Godzilla's not supposed to run away from helicopters. Godzilla's supposed to be this force of nature that just can't be stopped. But that's besides the point. A lot of them. Thing is, I saw the movie, and it's probably the first and only time my mother has ever apologized to me on my birthday. Seriously, my own mom was like, oh god, this is terrible. She's like, I'm sorry son, I'm sorry that your hero just got shat on so badly. And I probably will never forget that, and I don't think she will either. Seriously. If you haven't seen the movie, I guess get together some friends and fucking lampoon it like fucking Mystery Science Theater or something, because really it's just a waste of time. It's a terrible film, especially if you like the subject matter and like the character of Godzilla to begin with.